system which is most burdened, maybe not right now, but it has happened in other countries, not so far in India, is the medical care system. And so how does, let me give you an example. You see that I looked at a new design for a ventilator. Now, because these ventilators, which are in ICU, they require very tight medical supervision, right? With a trained doctor, with trained nurses, and so on. We may not have so many, right? That has not happened in India, but we know that it has happened in other countries. Now, I saw a design for ventilator which has an IoT in it, which means a single doctor can actually monitor 20 different um, mm, ventilators, right? So that so this is the role of technology. Moreover, if you build and people are building aspects of AI and machine learning, the ventilator. So because it's very tricky, well, there are so many adjustments that one has to make depending on the sensor outputs. So all of that could be made a whole lot more automated. A lot of biomedical devices today are based, so they produce an output which has to be looked at by a doctor, right? And doctors get to be in short supply. So point is, there are 2 points. One is the so-called telemedicine, which means that doctor doesn't have to be physically there, and more of it is happening. We need more, effective apps and platforms for that. To give you an example, there is one app that somebody came up with and said, look, there are all these doctors listed there depending on who you want to call. But when you're calling these doctors, the first 10 that you call are either busy or don't take the call. I mean, this is such a simple problem, because this app should just keep calling doctors one after another with a certain priority list, and the first one that you hit, right, then you're able to talk to that person. So there are many of these things in terms of how do you get connected with doctors. Second aspect is, like I was saying, that each of these biomedical devices produces an output which has to be looked at by a doctor. So that's a decision-making process. Now, a whole lot of that decision-making process could be automated only in critical cases, while that a person, a doctor, actually has to look deeper into it. For example, chest X-rays. It's a very common example now that you can do diagnosis of, after maybe 5 days or so of the virus, once it gets to the lungs. This has become very sensitive diagnostics. So very little changes, small changes that even a doctor would not be able to pick up. But by training this with machine learning, that you can actually do it. And it correlates quite well with PCR and stuff at that stage, right? So a whole lot of these things, technology plays a big role in reducing dependence on doctors, on trained medical staff, which are going to be in short supply. Similarly, not everybody needs ICU ventilator. There are new ventilator designs that have come up very quickly, the non-invasive kind. So a whole lot of people are not that critical, very few are. You may need support at home. You may need support outside of hospital. It requires a different design. And because the trained manpower is not going to be available in those spaces, so therefore the role of artificial intelligence coding for that becomes very critical.